My name's Gabriel Ramos. I'm currently incarcerated in the common unit. So I'm innocent, and you're about to hear the story of this corruption, the lies, the threats that got me convicted. On December 28th of 2000, I had a workplace for my arrest in Ramiro Saldana and Mark Alanis. I turned myself in because I'm innocent. Not like in the movies, they would investigate my case and see I had nothing to do with it and let me go. But instead, they built a case against me with threats, lies, and abuse. They say you're innocent to proven guilty. But down here in Texas, you're guilty to proven innocent. While I was in the county jail, the DA came to visit me, and my attorney came. And he told me that my co-defendant, Arnulfo Ayala, had taken a polygraph test and had failed it twice. And he told me if I was willing to take it. And at first, I was scared, Convicted in Corpus Christi for aggravated robbery that they say I committed on September the 4th of 2000. And I wasn't there at all. But the point is, the police officer that arrested me for this crime stated that I committed the crime on the night at hand. So when they arrested me at my house without a warrant, they took me back to the crime scene where it was no one, and they took me to jail. And that was September the 4th. October the 24th, they took me to trial for the same aggravated robbery, less than 50 days, on a first-degree felony, without any witnesses, no evidence, no one testified to a crime. But the point is, the officer that arrested me was named Sergeant. Okay.
Hello, and how are you? Well, welcome, everyone. Welcome. We are back yet again, y'all. This will be our final interview for today. So if you guys could please share this out in your circle of influence. Share this out in your circle of influence. We are the Free Texas Campaign, and we present the voices from behind the walls of TDCJ. Of course, I am the queen of collaboration, affectionately known across these social media platforms, in these social media streets. Of course, I am Angela Thomas Smith, and I want to thank you guys for all your support and for tuning in. Make sure you share this because you never know what the next person may be in need. So today we have Mr. KASEY WOODARD. Mr. KASEY, welcome.
How you doing, Ms. Angela? It's good to be on the program today. I got some information that I want to share with people that may not know about the court system, and we're going to go through that today.
All right. Well, the floor is yours. It is yours.
Okay. Today I want to talk about the indigent defense attorney assignment program that they have aside from the court system. And a lot of people don't understand the rules and the regulations that are guidelined by the courts when they assign attorney to indigent defendants. When they're assigning attorneys to indigent defendants, the first thing they're going to do, they're going to bring you into the courtroom, and they're going to ask you if you can afford an attorney. If you can't afford an attorney, they'll assign you one. And the process that they assign you an attorney is on the indigent defense attorney program. And what that program is designed for is people who can't afford or don't have the funds to be able to have an attorney to represent them in criminal defense practice and stuff inside the court. And one of the things that they do is they got a thing called the wheel. And what the wheel is, they're gonna have a selection of attorneys that they're gonna pick between different periods of the assignments in the courts. And those attorneys are they're assigned attorneys by the courts to represent indigent defendants. And the indigent defendants, they have let me see how they do it.
Well, it states right here, it states that I have it written out for it. It said once an attorney is represented, the defendant, the same attorney-client relationships exist as if the attorney had been retained, and counsel is obligated to represent the client until the trial court actually grants a motion to withdraw or a motion to substitute counsel. Despite the court's initial authority with regards to the appointments of the counsel, a trial court may not unilaterally remove a defendant's attorney without extraordinary and good cause. Because without the extraordinary good cause, the trial court's power to appoint attorney to represent an indigent defendant was not included concurrent powers to remove the counsel at trial. So once they assign an attorney to you, that attorney is going to be your lawyer all the way through the trial counsel, through the trial. And if you're found guilty and you want to appeal your decision, they can't keep that same attorney, but usually that attorney, they're going to withdraw from your case and assign you another attorney to represent you on appeal. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this issue right here is because they did something to me in my instances where I had an attorney that they assigned to me, and the attorney promised me that he can get me 25 years on the sentence. However, this other attorney came and seen me and told me that I was not going to see that other attorney again. So what they were supposed to do, they were supposed to have a withdrawal hearing. The attorney was supposed to file a motion for withdrawal, and that attorney didn't file that motion, and this other attorney came and took over my case. Now, what stands out in my case is that the attorney that they assigned to me, when I had went to court to go get an attorney, this lawyer gave the DA, the two DAs that was prosecuting my case, he gave them advice on how to fight my case. They told him that they was going to start off my case at 40 years for a plea bargain agreement, and then they called him over. His name is Charles J. Bunk. So Mr. Bunk, they said, hey, Charles, come here. We have this case that we're going to be trying, and we're going to start it off for 40 years. What do you think about it? And so when they went to talking like in private a little bit, then he said that's exactly what I would do in order to start the case. So, but I didn't recognize him at first, so I didn't know who he was. I didn't know. I thought he was part of the DA department or something. Then during my trial, he wore this blazer that he wore the day when I went to go get for a public defender. So I asked him, I said, how can you represent me? And he gave them advice on my case. And he told me, he said he was allowed to do that. But I'm at that particular time, my cognitive state and my mental ability at that time was kind of shocked because I was going through this trial and I hadn't yet healed from the incidents of what had happened. Now, what people don't understand is that before a lawyer can take over your case, they have to have a hearing. At the hearing on that motion, the other lawyer have to file a motion in order to be able to substitute counsel for me, but they never done that. I have to consent to that, and then I have an option to object to them changing my attorney. They never afforded me none of that. So what I've done behind the research that I got, I filed a complaint to the Judiciary Committee against the judge. I filed 2 complaints to the Bar Association against both of the attorneys. Because see, my first attorney, I signed a contract with him. His name was Albert M. Gutierrez. Now, Mr. Gutierrez, he told me what he can do for me. He told me that he can give me 25 years. I told him that I would consider that if that was the final option. Now, he told me, don't talk to anyone, don't speak about my case to anyone and while I was locked up. And I have a copy of that letter still today that he had given me. Okay, he left. Somewhere down in between, this other lawyer came to see me, Charles J. Bunk. Now, Mr. Bunk, I told him, I said I had an attorney. That's one violation because a lawyer can't talk to you once you inform them that you're already represented by counsel. However, this lawyer still told me that that other attorney that came to see you, you're not going to see him. I'm a $100,000 attorney that you're getting for free. That other lawyer can't do for you what I can do for you in that courtroom. The two DAs that's prosecuting your case, I taught them their job. The district attorney, and then then the judge that's in your case, she's a personal friend of mine. What happened? I never seen my lawyer again. I never seen Mr. Gutierrez again once he told me that. Now, all the violations that occurred, first of all, Mr. Bumpkin talked to another lawyer, talked to a client that's represented by another attorney. That's a client because I signed a confidentiality with this other lawyer. He in violation for interfering with another lawyer's client. That's the first mistake on him. Secondly, and then the greatest thing is that the judge knew that she was supposed to have a hearing. However, they bypassed all of these rules and procedures of the assignments of another attorney and the substitution of an attorney to an inmate. To an inmate that's fighting his case. So what that created a thing for me to be able to go back and challenge my case. Because what I feel like what they done was at that particular time, is what I've read and what I researched is that they allowed me to go to trial by ambush. It was a setup for this attorney to represent me in order to secure a conviction on me by him representing me. Those are some of the practices that they do in the courts these days. They're allowing certain attorneys to represent people in order to ensure that they're being convicted. Now, I've been fighting this for 14 years, and these little tricks and plays that they do even go down to when you're fighting your case. Now, since I've been fighting my case, I had to buy my records. I bought my records from the Court of Criminal Appeals. So when I bought my records from the Court of Criminal Appeals, I'm looking at the actions that they took on my case during this particular time, and the action that they took on my case, they rubber stamped the 1107 process. There was no justices that reviewed my case, and it looked like that they had a staff attorney that reviewed my case, and they stamped it. Now they have something they're supposed to do, like a finding fact of law on your case, where they take the allegations that you made, and they're supposed to go and they check it through the law and see if there was any constitutional violations done to you. They didn't do that with me. What they did, they ran a hearing on the affidavits that my trial attorney and then my appeal attorney filed on me. And those affidavits, they ran a hearing on the credibility of the affidavits from the attorneys that represented me. They didn't go through none of the issues of my constitutional violations that I filed. And I asked if they have a hearing on any of the issues in my 1107 filing, that I'll be able to go back and go back on bench warrant in order to supplement my records and question the attorneys, because they don't supply you with a lawyer to represent you when you're going back on these hearings. So they didn't do that with me. They denied my motion to be able to come back and question the lawyer if they have a hearing. And I didn't know that they had a hearing on these issues until I got a letter stating that they had a hearing, and I looked at it that they said my motion that my 1107 filing was denied. So I didn't know why they denied it. Really, I didn't know the reasons what they done it. So I had to pay for that. They were supposed to send me a copy, and what I did, I paid for the copy for me to be able to see what was the reason for them to deny my 1107 filing. So when I looked at everything, and I wasn't really versed in understanding the law at that particular time, but I learned over a period of time. And I started looking at it, and I seen that they had hearings, and they denied me the right to be able to attend the hearing. Then they denied my motions to be able to be able to question the lawyers on and supplement my records. These are the little practices and denials that they do to people in my position. you know, what they call me is a pro se litigant. And when I go back to court on this, like, it's called ex parte. That's what they always ex parte. Anything based on ex parte, and you don't have an attorney representing you, it's kind of hard for inmates to fight their cases alone, especially if you don't have an attorney. And these denial of your rights, these are things that they're doing to people in my position. We don't get a fair hearing on any of the things that we have going against us. We may have issues that our law it overturns our conviction, but the courts, I'm not understanding how you can have judges and they're not doing their job in the things that they were elected to supposed to do. And you're supposed to have a 3-judge panel. So if I'm not getting a 3-judge panel to look at my issues, and then they're rubber stamping and allowing these staff attorneys or administrative attorneys or whatever rules are in there to stamp these things, how are we getting a fair shake at the law? How are we getting a fair shot at trying to get our case overturned if doing the things that they said are supposed to be constitutionally right for us, if we're not getting that opportunity? It's like they're subverting the constitutional rights of individuals in this situation. And that's one of the things I was looking at as well. So I'm getting something from the judge, from a first case for assignment. It seemed like everything that they done was designed in order to make sure that I was going to get convicted. Regardless of the circumstances of the situation, that the whole process of the courts, you close out my trial, you deny the public from being a part of it, you put a gag order on my trial, you won't let the media be a part of it, but yet and still, you do things in that venue where you don't give me my rights. You signed me an attorney that was already conflict with interest because of the association he had with the courts, and then you allow him to be able to help you secure conviction on me by right and give me a large number, because they sentenced me to 50 years, and they use the means and tools with these attorneys to not to help you. And you know, that's just how it is. That's the way that they're doing it right now. Yeah, and I feel like that when you're a person in my shoes, African American man, I'm gonna be straight with it, African American man, without the funds and the means to be able to have a paid attorney, that it's gonna be stacked against you. It's gonna be stacked against you. And the only thing they want to do is they want to hide you. And the thing that they used on me, they couldn't even use it the first time. They couldn't even use them, but they did. They illegally and enhanced my sentence with a conviction that they couldn't use. And they used a conviction that I never done. I never done the conviction that they alleged that I done. I was never convicted of it, but they used it in order to enhance my sentence to be able to give me a large amount of time. They started my time off 25 to life, and they gave me 50 years. And they couldn't even do that. All I was facing was 2 to 10 on one, 2 to 10 on two, and 2 to 20 on the other. That's all I could have been given. But they gave me a hard sentence and kept it out the public eye and used an attorney that was already aligned with the courts to be able to do these things to me.
Wow. Now that's a lot. That is a lot. And as I hear individual story, that is a pattern that is going on in the state of Texas. A pattern where they use these attorneys to benefit the courts and not the defendants, but benefit the courts. And I keep telling people that if you trace the money trail, and it goes back to the corruption that has plagued the state of Texas for over 3 to 4 decades. Look at all the individuals that's incarcerated. You know, a lot of us, we used to think that if someone was in prison, they deserved to be in prison. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been in prison, because we believed in the judicial system, because that's what they taught us. And because they taught us that, they've taken advantage of it. They've taken advantage of the fact that a lot of us don't know nothing about the judicial system. A lot of us don't know nothing about the laws. So we allow people to take advantage of us, not knowingly, because we put trust in these people. We figure we pay these people, we give them this money, that they're going to look out for our best interest, when that is not the truth.
It's a harsh punishment. See, the thing about it is that a lot of people look at Law and Order, and they look at the programs back in the day, Perry Mason or Matlock, and they look at these things and they think the judicial system is like that. Now, they show a little bit of the corruption that the DA would do in order to maneuver to get convictions and stuff. They do that. But yet and still, when the law states that they're supposed to be fair, that they're supposed to look at you're not guilty until proven innocent. They don't do that. You're guilty before proven innocent, and then not just that. It's about winning and losing with them. It's not about being right. It's about how much can you win? Can you beat this case? They're not gonna let you win when you don't know the law. If you're not familiar with the operations of the courts, if you're not familiar with your rights or understanding what they can and they can't do, they're gonna do what they ain't supposed to do in order to get the results they want to do, and that's to hide. They're gonna hide you. They're gonna try to hide you, and that's what they're trying to do. And I've been fighting this for a while, Ms. Angela, and it's frustrating to me sometimes, and I've cried about it, because I know in my mind that, okay, I'm supposed to be punished for something that I've done. I've done it. I'm not taking away from anything about what I've done. At that particular time, being irrational about my emotions and my feelings and what happened in my instances, I understand that. I understand but the harshness and the extreme measures of why you did it and how you done it, it's like you impose these innocent hide men for decades and strip them of their life without being fair on the punishment. I understand I'm supposed to be punished for something, but I've seen a white guy that had the same identical offense as me, and they gave him 19 years. I've been gone 14, so I know he's home right now. But you gave him 19 years, and his was a little more severe than mine, because the way he did it. He paralyzed somebody in the arm, he shot him in the arm, and he shot a police officer, and he had to have major surgery. Shot him in his arm collapsed. So I know there's certain things about things, but you allow this guy here, you give him 19 years, but you give me 50 years. And I know another guy that they gave 12 years to. But what gets me is they can molest and assault young kids and get probation. And that happened while I was in the courtroom. Or they'll get 6 years or 2 years. And every time that I went to court, I've seen cases like this. They've done that. These are heinous acts that you're doing to kids. But you allow them to get these little sentences, but you hired me for something behind my incident. Mine it started off as a family violence thing. It started off like that. You know, all it was is my marriage was going wrong, and I chose the wrong way to deal with it. I'm not making it no excuse about it, but I don't feel like I deserve no 50 years. I don't feel that at all. I can see the punishment aspect of it, but there's a harshness to the punishment that they're doing also. But when they break their own rules and regulations in the courts in order to ensure that a person gets the time that they got, that's not right.
Again,
rules you're supposed to follow in the courts.
It goes back to the 3 to 4 decades of corruption that has plagued the state of Texas. I mean, it's all about money. They're looking at bodies. And they know that if there's certain bodies, they can get in there and they can get the work. You look at who makes up the prison system. The majority of the prison system now, you're overran with Mexicans. And then the next population would be that of blacks. So between blacks and Mexicans, you don't have that many Caucasians. There's a few they throw in there, here and there. But they know they can get the most work and the most stuff out of Mexicans and blacks. So they get us for the long haul. They get us to make the money. And they get the white people that come through. They just get them for show. They just get them for statistics, just so they can say that, no, this wasn't about a black and white. This wasn't about a black or Hispanic thing, when we all know what it was about. And we all know what it's about. It's all about money at the end of the day. Money and power. These people have power to do exactly what they are doing. And they're throwing it around, and they're doing it because guess what? Their slavery, it never ended. They're letting us know that it never ended, and that they can have the power to do what they want to do. They still in control, and that's how they do it. Guess what we do? We go along with it. We believe that, oh, the justice system gonna work for us. We gonna go. No, they never have been for us. They never have been for us. They have railroaded us from the beginning. Again, pay for play. You Google corruption in the state of Texas. So much is going to pop up. So many pictures of money being transferred under the table and all this. Okay, if y'all can show pictures of this and we can see this, then why y'all not doing nothing about it? Why have not a task force investigation been launched on the judicial system in the state of Texas a long time ago? Get the governor out.
When you said slavery a few minutes ago, it made me, it just, in here right now. So, a lot of times they say they have a shortage of staff. So the shortage of staff, they feed us Johnnies. Even when they ain't got the shortage of staff, they feed us these Johnny meals. Now, these Johnny meals, they bring this styrofoam cup, a 6-ounce styrofoam cup, but they put a third of the amount of the food that they're supposed to be feeding us. And then with that, they give us this biscuit that they bake, or they give us 2 pancakes. This is the meal that they fed us yesterday. That was the last meal. The first meal, they fed us that same little bitty styrofoam cup with a third of pieces, third of meat and rice, and then they had peanut butter and jelly on 2 pancakes, little bitty pancakes. Now these pancakes are smaller than our hands. And they're not big, and this is what they fed us. And then in the breakfast time, they fed us this meal. It's really what they call a fruit loaf. And people that don't know what a fruit loaf is, look it up and see if they have some kind of definition and to tell you what a fruit loaf is. They fed us that and a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It had peanut butter, jelly, and syrup mixed in it. So it's real sloppy, and it's really not that much. And they spread it across so that it can look like it's a lot, but it's not. They feeding us meals that below the nutritional value guideline for them folks supposed to feed us, and it's not wholesome. We're supposed to get wholesome meals. And then when I'm looking at these officer trays that they bring up, because you got inmates that work in the ODR, and they bring these officers their trays, and they got all the standards of what they're supposed to have. They got vegetables, they got a dessert, they got meat, they eating steaks, pork chops, or chicken. So you allowing them to get the choice meats of the meal when you allowing the population, which is us slaves, because with indentured servants, because they will against our will to be in these prisons like this, and the way that they're doing it made me think of being in slavery. We do the labor for free. We do everything else for free, but you feed them the best parts of whatever the meals are coming in, and this is supposed to be fed for us. Because the rule says that they're supposed to eat what we eat, but they don't do that. They eat better than what we eat, and they've been doing that. So you want to know why people are always coming up with diabetes, cancer, all kind of health issues and things like that? It's because they're not eating the proper nutrition. But if you're depriving of the proper meal to eat, you're going to have all these different type of things happening to people in prison. There's a mass thing that's going in here. Everybody in here, a lot of people have been diagnosed with diabetes. A lot of people have been diagnosed with some kind of things going on with their kidneys. It's coming up with cancer. Cancer is going rapid in here as well. So if you're not feeding the person right for their body to be able to regenerate the proper the cells to renew their body, to rebuild those things that's dying inside of us. If we're not getting nothing that's going to help us to have a proper function in our bodies, then it's going to stay in there and it's going to grow. It's going to grow to these different types of colon cancer, prostate cancer. It's going to go into diabetes. It's going to have these things, obesity, because you're feeding a bunch of bread and a bunch of noodles and stuff. So if you're not feeding us properly, you're going to have a lot of people getting out of here broke down, hurt, sick, and or dying in here. That's what it is.
Yeah. And that is so true. And I have been talking about the meals that they serve, the under-nutritional meals. If you can feed the school system USDA grade meals, and I'm sure that they get the same supplement that they get through the USDA, so why can't they have a menu? They can have an approved menu that they have to serve every day. That should be a requirement. That should be a requirement. I want to thank you for stopping by and sharing today. You definitely shared a lot of insight. I thank you. You are welcome to stop by anytime. Always help to keep those that are tuned in informed. I want to thank those that have tuned in today for stopping by and sharing with us. Please share this in your circle of influence, because I tell you, you never know what the next person may be in need of. And we are trying to bring awareness to those things that's affecting us in the state of Texas, those things that are affecting families of those that are incarcerated. Some of these people have been overly and wrongfully incarcerated for way too long. Enough is enough, and it's time that we take a stand. It's time that we stand up. Y'all, we can't keep being quiet and allowing these things to happen. It's time for voices to speak out and to ring out all over this world so that people will know what is taking place right under our eyes. Y'all, it's time to get these elected officials out that's not going to do what they're supposed to do. It's time for them to get out of office and get people in office that's going to do what's supposed to be done. Y'all, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all have a great rest of y'all day. Have a great week. We do this every single Monday. Y'all, next week, we're going to have a lineup of some more individuals stopping by and sharing their perspective about what's taking place inside TDCJ. Y'all, and this is not planned. These people don't know each other. They're coming from different units, as you see. And guess what? Similar stories. There's a pattern. Y'all, guess what the pattern is? Corruption within the state of Texas. And it's time that something is done about it.
Convicted in Corpus Christi for aggravated robbery. They say I committed on September the 4th of 2000. And I wasn't there at all. But the point is, the